I don't think off the top of my head that we had a lot of like BJJ crossover at first,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know. As far as like, well, I'm wrong. I think it was just different. The jiu-jitsu as a sport, what it is today, wasn't the same back then. So a lot of the big name stars crossed over into MMA quite quickly, you know. We had all of the Gracie family,
Yeah.
fighting, and then we had a bunch of other superstars crossing over, and even like guys like Marcelo Garcia tried to cross over,
Yeah, that one play.
and then a few others that I can't really think of right now, but there's definitely a lot of, like, as soon as you won a world championship in jiu-jitsu, that you tried to cross over into MMA, and that was
You
because of
just won
money, because of money, right? There was more money in MMA back then. Like, you're not making any money with jiu-jitsu back in those days, nothing, right? So as soon as you made a name for yourself, even like guys like Shaolin went over into MMA, and he was a fantastic fighter. You know, so the only, I think, person who was a star back then, like Fabrice Verdun, is a good example,
over
right?
Doom. Yeah.
Right? He crossed over into MMA pretty soon after he won his world championships. I think the only one that didn't really get into MMA was Terere. I don't think he really got into. I don't even know if he fought MMA, but a lot of the other stars, as soon as they did well in jiu-jitsu, they would cross over into MMA because it's the money. There was more money in fighting MMA and fighting UFC. Um, but I think it's different now. It's a lot different now because the sport has evolved. Jiu-jitsu as a sport has evolved where you have sponsorships. Some tournaments are giving out money now. I believe, like, if you're the world absolute champion, the IBJJF gives you like 10 grand or something like that. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is
That's true.
money.
Yeah.
There is money to be made
Mhm.
in sport jiu-jitsu now, and now we have like Fight to Wins, Polaris's, and EBIs and
All these other ones, right?
The Kasai's and all. So you can, man, you can make okay money. I'm not saying like, well, Gordon Ryan is a good example. Man, he makes a good living just competing in these super fights
Constantly.
that he gets into all the time, right? And I think that he doesn't get involved for less, like, for anything less than 10 grand to start. So he's doing okay. Um, so there's money to be made in jiu-jitsu now. So you'll see that there's less and less and less and less jiu-jitsu, high level jiu-jitsu guys crossing over to MMA. I think the last hurrah right now that we're looking at is, and again, he's an, considered maybe a bit of an older generation guy, and that's Rodolfo Vieira,
Oh, right.
right?
Yeah. But
So,
he just made his debut.
no, I think it was his
Oh
second
no,
fight,
second
second
fight.
fight in
Yeah.
UFC, right? So, and again, I think he's the last of the old guard that has,
Yeah.
like, done well in jiu-jitsu and crossover into MMA.
There's all
I
positive
don't
check
see it. Well, and then there's what's his name? Uh,
Von Von Beltor. Are we thinking about the same guy?
no, you fought in UFC.
Oh, never mind. Okay. I
No,
was thinking
no.
about that guy. He beat Musasi recently. And he retired because of a brain issue. Lovato Jr.
Oh,
Lovato Jr.
Lovato Jr. Yeah, again,
Yeah.
he's an older, again, one of
Yeah.
those same along the same, like, timeline, right?
Mhm.
Along the same timeline. Where these guys are crossing over, and even like, what's his name? Yeah, welterweight guy from UFC. He's really good too.
Oh,
Oh,
Gilbert
damn it.
Burns.
Yeah, Gilbert.
He just oh, it's
Again, but when
passing
was
the torch. He
yeah, but
knocked out
listen,
Dan Hooker.
but look at it. When was the last time? When was the last time he won the Jiu-Jitsu World Championship? It's
I actually
from
don't follow him.
it's from the same generation as Rodolfo and those other guys.
Oh,
You
he's
know what I mean?
older. I didn't realize.
He's well, he was younger, but he was competing along the same timeline,
I see. I see. I see.
right? So I don't see too many guys. I mean, I know someone mentioned here Gary Tonin. Yeah, but what has he really done? Not much yet.
He
You know
won
what I
debuts
mean?
and won.
He's won one or two fights and won, but